he has had this to say.
We had an email come through this morning from a senior Hampshire police officer who said, "We are told to police incidents differently according to the ethnicity of those involved." They are the instructions given to police, and those police in Southampton would have been working to those rules. This is two-tier Britain, and I'm totally opposed to it. I'm opposed to DEI, I'm opposed to positive discrimination. I believe if we're going to live in a free and fair country, everybody must be judged equally on their merits.
It's, as you can see there, this is part 2 of that investigation into Nowak, Henry Nowak's case. And as you can see there, that Farage basically says that everyone should be judged equally. Right? Now obviously Farage is the reform man. And what they want to reform is the actual British law, or English law, English Constitution, Bill of Rights, etc. Which basically obviously gives the English people and the native people, the ethnic people, the rights and the proper law, right? So again, you can see that from this PSY-OP, which is based on 2 foreigners, right? One a Polish Jew, one an Indian Sikh. And based on the actions, they're gonna try and manipulate, change law, make everyone equal, right? Which means immigrants being equal in law to the native British Islanders, right? So you can see what the purpose behind this PSY-OP is. That's why they never used an ethnic native person in the PSY-OP. They used 2 foreigners, right? Because what they're trying to do is basically criminal. It's criminal. It's fraudulent, in terms of English Constitution law and all that. Right? It's this is a law as it stands now, right? No foreign prince person, private state or potentate have or to have any jurisdiction, power, superiority, preeminence or authority within this realm. Or the other version says over the English, right? But this stuff seems to be disappearing fast from like internet and all that. They seem to be basically unpurposefully getting rid of it. But this is law as it stands now, right? As you see here, called the British Constitution. I've seen there's one in particular book says that the British is anybody, but the English is like relating to the thing, but I don't believe that. Personally, I've gone for this, I've gone for the British Constitution. I wouldn't give them the British identity neither. That seems to me to be playing into hands, part of the PSY-OP. I'm not going to be giving them the British idea either. So that's your constitutional rights, right, that you have as a sort of British person on these islands. And that's what they're trying to get rid of and replace and reform with something that makes everyone, including obviously an Indian Sikh, a Polish Jew, Pakistani and African, whatever, the same as you, right? All like, the equal law, which is total fraud, criminal, right? To even attempt it is criminal, and it basically, people might say, what difference does it make? But it means you've got the homeland, it destroys the homeland of the British people, English people, the Scots people, Welsh, this will be the first ones, right? The first ones actually have the homeland stolen from them by, legality and, all this. So it's a real big thing, They've never done it with any country before. Maybe it's Israel and Palestine or something like that, type of thing, but never to this extent, where they're stealing, like proper, one of the oldest sort of lands gone, right? And they're stealing it from under the people's nose with lies and legalities and all this, right? So it's quite a big deal. Now this is the law, and it applies only to the native people, right? So you've got rights. You stick a foreigner in, they've got any right at all. They've got any right to even be walking around on these islands. See, that's fact. You know what I mean? They've got no rights whatsoever under local ways. So everything's a trick to get you to believe that like we're all equal, we're all as one, and all that. It's not to do with good things. it's to do with evil, you know, it's to do with evil because they're gonna steal your land off you, your country, your identity. Eventually your peoples just gets extincted, you know. It's like the grey squirrel and the red squirrel, you know. Imagine seeing that, the red squirrel, like how diverse and contributory these grey squirrels are gonna be, and then, you know, 5 years later the red squirrel is nearly extinct, you know, he's had his habitat stolen by the grey squirrel, you know. It's exactly the same thing. See, this poor cunt is on his way out. Years of grey squirrel, it's exactly the same thing with the people. Again, these are considered vermin, like, you know, like squirrels are considered vermin. Now think about that. You know, think about who's in charge of this country now and all that, and what the way they view things and all that, right? So why would they do this? You know, why would they first import all these grey squirrels in, right? You know, you're talking about the vermin idea, right? Experimentation. You know, seeing what happens, how quickly it takes, etc. Right? You know, it's based on what we're gonna do. Now you see how you've got a 6. I've got a 6 for identification. Right? 1 in 6, that's your 7. Now as you see, numbers of UK as animals are falling as countrywide nature loss crisis continues. Now we got into the House of Commons thing, and these animals are basically not animals like that, but, you know, a different type of animal. I'm calling for more housing to be built, right, for immigrants. And you know, obviously this leads to the wildlife thing, and all the nature being destroyed. Right? Now see this one with the green finch. Again, the numbers give the 6 and 7. Right? As you see, it's on its this is being affected. Right? Now, what I'm seeing here is the RSPB is urging gardeners to stop putting food out in, you know, them feeders. They're blaming the people who put the food out in the feeders, right, for this parasitic disease that is easily transmitted to bird feeders. Right? Now, if you now put these, it's a green finch. Right? Now, you've got the species of green parrot. Now, what they've introduced into Britain. Right? Now, basically, to me, right, that would be the reason, along with obviously the building more housing and tearing down, you know, nature sites, wildlife sites, and building more motorways and housing for immigrants and all that crap. Right? That would be what's eliminating these species. But what they're saying is they're trying to blame it on the people who put the food out on the bird feeders, which to me is ridiculous. You know, right? You've got an invasive parrot species brought into the country, right? And obviously they're taking the habitat of these ones, right? They're taking the trees, they're taking the food, right? So it's like, to me, that just makes perfect sense. Why is these ones in decline? Because you've got an invasive parrot species being, you know, introduced into their environment, right? Now, we're seeing these things, we call it ring-necked parakeet. Again, it's green, right? Same as a green finch, right? So it's got to be in competition for habitat and food, right? Flocks sometimes reaching hundreds at a roost site. Now, these things are all over the place, you know. Like if you go about, you see them all over, right? Like wherever you are, you know, in the main built-up parts or the urban parts or the sort of more rural parts, you see these things all over, right? Again, they're not native to Britain. They've been introduced, obviously, from Africa, that type of thing, you know, parakeets. Now these, say non-migratory, native to Africa, yet they've took them and deliberately released them into Britain, right? Now, why the hell would they want to do that, right? Because they experiment to see what happens with human beings, you know, when they do this similar with human beings. This will be why the certain species of British native birds are being, you know, slowly eliminated, right? see, these things are getting all over the place. And basically were released into London, which is the same as the multiculturalism with human beings. First of all it was just London, and then just follows the whole place. Gets here, Again, we apply the feral idea to the urban youth type idea, right? And you see the UK as the only naturalised parrot. Now again, this is part of the PSY-OP because they wanted the people to look up and think, oh, that lovely little parrot up there, naturalised, which is basically kind of the British Naturalisations Act. Right? So you see, all this stuff, basically criminal against proper British law, proper constitution. Right? But basically anybody can become a British citizen, right? Which is complete crap. It doesn't happen anywhere else on the planet, right? Even America, which is a proper multicultural colony, as right from the start, founded obviously by Freemasons. Even them have got much tougher laws about getting the citizenship and all that, right? I mean, it's bloody crazy, this. You can tell it's a plan to destroy an entire race of people, that's what it's about, There's no reason in sanity for doing it, right? The only reason that could possibly be for doing it is to wipe out the existing race, extinct them and replace them, right? Of course, a few of their own traitors will think that they're going to be alright. But it isn't to me. If the habitat, like an animal kingdom or bird kingdom, if the habitat's taken, right, how can you survive? How can you survive anyway? Of course, the low IQ traitors, also gonna suffer in time. It's a crazy situation, turn everybody against each other, and only the very ones at the top of the tree type of thing, again using the bird's metaphor, are going to be alright. The ones on the lower branches are all going to be fucked, basically. So you've got Henry Nowak, right? Henry Nowak, Nigel Farage Reform, right? And then you've got King Henry and the Reformation. So basically, what they're trying to bring about is another English Reformation idea, where this was something to do with Catholics and bringing Catholics in and all that idea or something like that. Right? So again, it's like another change idea. But obviously you're trying to bring these new immigrants in as if they're natural British citizens, right? Which is crazy. And if it didn't harm the proper ones, it wouldn't really be a problem, but it does harm the proper ones, It does harm the proper ones. It takes away your homeland, your ancestral homeland, right? It's like, when the Jews had no land, right? There's the story about them had no land and that they gone searching around the world. So basically what they're going to do is replace the British land, take the British land, right, steal it, and make the British people's homeless. That's what they're trying to do in terms, right? They steal the British's homeland off them and make them like homeless. They home, they can't eat, right? I mean, it's like crazy, right? Just like this week, 6 and 5, 11, 2 and 3. 2 and 1, 3, 3, 11's 33, right? They shall live in your house. So there you go. They shall live in your house and all that. And build houses and all, building up new houses for immigrants. So there you go. This is the Jewish plan, Jewish plan, all the way, right? Here, for example, blessed are those who dwell in your house. That they continually praise you, or is that they continually pray on you?